Hello, fellow wholehearted. Welcome to Hanging with Hang. Today, you are hanging with me in a very raw moment in the kitchen table, still in my t-shirt. I have a thought that I want to share with you. I feel it's going to be serving you. So, in this video today, I'm going to share with you a few keys how you can stop making yourself small. Now, this is something that I know I'm observing and notice in myself and in a lot of powerful people that I work with over the years. So it has no is disregard your status in life of how your life may look on the surface. You may make a lot of money, you may have an amazing house, amazing relationship, you may be in a power positions, but and all of us get caught up in moment that around certain situation, around certain people, we are making ourselves small for whatever reason it is. And as you know, that's being wholehearted. We want to live fully, right? Wholeheartedly. So when we make ourselves feel small, it feels suffocating. It feels, how do you say it? Unfulfilled, because you feel like you spiral downward, and there's a sense of like you losing a grip of yourself. So it's not a good feeling, period. And the cool thing is, once we can master the turnaround time of those moments that you feel yourself, you make yourself feel small around certain people, which there will be people that will come in your life and make you feel that way, then you get to experience true freedom in that. So I made my note here this morning. Like I said, I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. So as I'm talking to you, I'm also looking at my notes. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything. So key number one, my friend, is to be aware that you are doing it and you are doing it to yourself. Now, being a wholehearted person like you, I know you've done the work. And a lot of time, you know a lot. So sometimes you may be overlooked at moments that you're making yourself small, right? Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how brilliant you are, there's always that blind spot. So my invitation is to pause for a moment and ask yourself, okay, are there people in my life that it could be obvious, it could be not that obvious, that I make myself small around them? And a lot of time this happens usually when you're around family, because there's certain dynamic that we grow up with, so we revert back to that patterns. And sometimes if you don't deal with it, you're going to end up in a relationship, in a romantic relationship or business relationship, where that person remind you of somebody else that make you feel small. So the journey of self is to move through the process, right? So you can become your authentic self. So one, my friend, is to have the awareness that you're doing it and that is hurting you, and the kind of effect that it has on you. For me, growing up, I've been such a peacemaker, and for my whole life, I don't want to upset any people. So a lot of time, at the cost of myself, I just conform, and then it's come back and bite me in the ass later. So, and then there's still time now, doing this work, teaching this work, living this work. I still struggle at times with certain relationship dynamic where I feel I'm shrinking into this little girl. I'm like, wow, what's happening with you to you? But the key is, when you recognize that, try your best to recognize and to have the awareness without judging yourself, because it's so easy being a wholehearted and a high achiever, right? You have certain expectation of yourself. Like for me, for example, because I'm coaching this, I'm helping people do this, and it's very easy for me to position of judging myself. Hey, what's wrong with you? How can you not even live the thing that you teach? So it's important for you to have compassion for yourself and not judging yourself, and really accept this. Okay, this is where's it at. Doesn't matter how many books I've read, doesn't matter how much work I've done, this is where's it at. So you put a period to it so you don't spiral down any deeper than it needs to, because the moment we put judgments on where you're at, that's the moment that you stop the growing from happening. So my friend, aware of happening and have some compassion for yourself while you're at it, for what it is. Okay, so that's point number one. Let me look at my note real quick. Point number two is, if you haven't done this already, is to decide to take a stand for yourself. Now, being wholehearted, I know how you can show up for other people, right? So how about you? How about you decide to show up for you? How about be that warrior for you? You would give your life for your kids, right? For certain people in your life, you would take a stand and fight and do what needs to be done to protect the people you love. But what about you? Are you willing to do that for yourself? Because think of you when you turn into this little person needs you. This little heart needs your care and nurturing. So part of this process, my friend, I'm inviting you to decide, because it has to come from you. Nobody can tell you to take a stand, right? You have to decide that you are important enough for yourself, that you're willing to take a stand for yourself. And part of this process of taking a stand is to emotionally stop blaming other people for how you feel. Because when we're in that funk, doesn't matter how much work you've done or how influent you are as a leader on this in the outside world, in that moment you're going to feel like you blame people for you feeling small, right? And you're going to feel victimized by situation that person made me feel small. I feel inferior around that person. Well, that person doesn't really make you feel that way. That person actually bring that part of you out, bring the wound that it may not be healed when you were a child come out. So then you get to take a stand and be a warrior and to guide that broken heart, that little version of yourself, to move through it with grace and with acceptance. So that's key number 2. And then key number 3 is to connect to your deeper needs. Connect to your deeper needs and know who you are about and what you are about. And not willing, because I know you're watching it, you're already willing. So let's skip that part and choose to do the hard work and the necessary inner work to be able to successfully take a stand for your need. Because that's not easy. To, let's say your loved one, you so used to say yes, make yourself feel small and to conform to everything as if you were to your parent when you was younger. And now knowing that there's certain moment in this love dynamic, you need space. And it's not personal, but there's a part of you, the little part of you feel like, okay, if I speak my need, I'm going to get rejected, right? This person not going to love me, so therefore that's ultimate pain. So the work, my friend, is to be with that pain. To be with that pain that, oh wow, this is really how my heart feels. It just is. There's some unwound part that because I'm afraid of fear of rejection, maybe in your previous life or your younger life, that you were rejected by your parents or your brother, your sister, every time you spoke your need. So it's create this fear to protect you, right? So then this fear starts to dictate your life. So now you are a grown-up now. You get to be able to take a stand and really connect to your need and be honest with yourself. You know what? I really need space. This is not personally. And in order to successfully do that, you got to be willing to do that work I'm talking about. And that work can come in a different form. You can sit in meditation, let your body process. You can do breath work. You can do sound bath. You can do therapy. You can do coaching, whatever that works for you. The key is to be with it and to peel the layer of the old wound so you actually can connect to your true need and able to speak it and to take that stand for yourself. It's so easy to say, oh yeah, I need to eat, I need to sleep. But a lot of time when you're so used to a certain way of being small, you're not going to be used to taking a stand and being big and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to need space from this, right? And maybe because and maybe you are already successful, able to speak your need in a corporate world, in the work setting. But then you may struggle with the relationship, and or vice versa. Some of you may be very good in the relationship part, but there's some people at work. Like I said, there's always someone that can bring that out of you. It could be your own kid. It could be your own kid that totally have control of you. It could be your boss. It could be your employee. It could be your boyfriend, girlfriend. It could be anyone that come in your life and really bring out that energy that you feel like they are making you feel small. So my invitation, they say, stop, right? So once you decide to connect to your need. Because once you know what your need is about you, you do the work to get through it, then you can start showing up as you. That's key number 4. Start showing up as you by allowing yourself to be truthful to your authentic self, 1 a.m. at a time. AM, if you haven't heard this word before, is 1 authentic moment at a time, because only you know what is authentic to you in the moment. And it's important that you are courageous enough to connect to the authentic moment, because sometimes we get scared, so we masquerading the moments, even though the moment's saying this, but you could make shit up and not connecting to the truth. So the key is to start one little dose at a time. Go one moment at a time and check in. Do I actually want water right now? Do I want soda? Do I want coffee? Or do I want sugar stuff? What is it that I actually want? What is it that Hang want? What is it that you want in this moment? Not what is it that somebody else think that you should want. Do I actually want to exercise? Or do I need a nap right now? Do I need to work more? So those are the basic thing for you to connect to and start showing up for yourself. Because if you are used to function a certain way, right, which is whatever the culture narrative is, whatever life identity you took on, to break away from that, it can be very difficult. Like for me, for my whole life, I was being an athlete for a long time, was an elite athlete, functioned at a high level. And being a highly empathic and sensitive, the only way for me to survive it is shut off my feelings and do whatever it takes. So basically, I was every other part of me except for my most authentic self to survive, to move through that. So then because of that, it's caused a disconnection between who I choose to show up in the world and who I actually am. So from that gap, there is a process to learn to come back to yourself and connect to your need. Because a lot of time, what you think is good for you and what actually good for you is two different things. And I personally am get caught up in this trap so many times. Because being a training athlete, a lot of time we train that doesn't matter how you feel. And you just show up and do the work, and then you work out, you feel better. But sometimes it's not true. Sometimes you actually just need to sleep to recover. Right? But our mind has a way to trick us. Our mind has a way to masquerading and making stuff up. And here's the thing, and I'm not the only one that's saying this. Most of the things that our mind say are usually not truth, are not true. So what you want is you want to really connect deeper to how you actually feel. And sometimes the feeling that comes from the masquerading mind, that's not the truthful feeling either. You want to come deeper in your own heart. So in each moment, to really start showing up at yourself, is I'm inviting you to really connect to your own heart. Pause for a second, take a breath, and really check in and ask yourself, what is authentic for me right now in this moment? And that's what it means by the authentic moment. In that, you can connect, what is it that I need? And then in that, you could choose to take a stand for your heart and really be courageous to speak that need and to honor that need. Because once you do that, that's how you break the cycle of stopping making yourself small. And now this is not about making yourself big, be egoic. This is about stop making yourself small so you can start simply being yourself. And simply being yourself in the deepest sense, you're going to be experiencing the deepest freedom that's every human being want to experience. So my friend, with that is my AM at the moment. This is my authentic self sharing with you this, my note for you. I hope this is going to be helpful for you. I am curious how specifically you are going to take a stand for yourself to stop making yourself small. You can leave in the comment there. If you feel this video is helpful, please feel free to share with other soul and heart that you feel is your AM. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and then set on notifications, and we'll let you know when the next video come out in the AM. So from my heart to yours, and from sunny Hawaii to wherever you are in the world, until the next AM. Aloha.